All right, greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected and all the viewers are smarter than the average bear. Don't you know? Yeah, you betcha. We're live on Rockfin, Rumble, and on YouTube. And kind of an interesting story out of Massachusetts. Well, hold on. We don't care, Mark Cuban. I'm jumping the gun. Hold on. Well, first of all, from Shadow of Ezra. This is, fairly I feel like this is pretty big news. but it's only confined to one town, or is it all of Massachusetts? I think it's confined to one town. Massachusetts health officials are advising residents to stay indoors. And yeah, exactly, Phantomas. Advising residents to stay indoors and have implemented a 6 p.m. curfew on outdoor activities until at least October. So, for at least a month or more, after detecting a human case of Eastern equine encephalitis transmitted by mosquitoes, Eastern equine encephalitis virus can cause a febrile illness or neurological disease, including meningitis or encephalitis. There are no vaccines to prevent or medicines to treat Eastern equine encephalitis. Not yet. But, oh my God, we didn't tell you until now, but Pfizer and Moderna both have been working on Eastern equine encephalitis vaccines. So there you go. It does. Creative experiment. Is it in Four Towns Saints? Great. I don't know. We're gonna watch the video. I just who sent Victory Jen sent me this. The timing is interesting given that Dr. Anthony Fauci was recently hospitalized with West Nile virus. Oh. How did Anthony Fauci get West Nile virus? Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting coming after many years, and in the last few years, for many years they've been going, well, we're thinking about releasing these mosquitoes that can curb the population of mosquitoes and keep diseases from spreading, et cetera, et cetera. And in the past few years, they've actually physically released a lot of these mosquitoes. The timing is interesting with West Nile virus, which was also contracted from a mosquito. So that's how he got it, huh?
Oxford, Massachusetts, and 3 neighboring towns have a reason for concern as mosquitoes carrying a potentially deadly virus called Eastern equine encephalitis, or Triple E, infected a resident who is now fighting for his life.
We don't want to see another human case of Triple E this year.
The rare but dangerous disease can cause swelling in the brain. There's no treatment and anyone can get infected. The death rate is as high as 30%.
Even if you do survive, usually there are long-term significant health impacts, neurological impacts.
Oxford has been declared a critical risk for Triple E, prompting health department officials to recommend a 6 p.m. curfew for outdoor activities, including club sports.
These are recommendations. They're not hard and stop requirements.
We are definitely nervous about it.
Sarah Fournier is also worried her children's sports seasons, football and cheer, could be jeopardized. But they're taking precautions by wearing mosquito repellent and long sleeve tops.
We can't stop life. They need to get out there. They need to play. This is their time to be social with their friends and be a part of a team.
Now, Triple E symptoms usually begin between 4 to 10 days after being bitten by an infected mosquito. According to the CDC, now some of those symptoms can include fever, headache, and seizures. Nora?
This is such an interesting story, Tiffany Chan. Thank you so much for bringing it to us.
An interesting story indeed. So there could be all kinds of reasons for this happening, you know. Of course, you know, people can point to environmental factors. Yes, more standing water because of the floods. Sure, that could be pointed to as, a contributing factor. Triple E, the old dreaded Triple E. It's interesting for sure. It's hard to know though because let's read this. We'll read this. We'll go through this a little bit. State officials are warning residents of Massachusetts towns to take precautions due to heightened risk of Eastern equine encephalitis virus. It can be carried by infected mosquitoes. State officials from the Massachusetts Department of Public Health said in a press release Saturday that 10 communities in the state have been raised to higher critical risk for the Triple E virus. Triple E virus. Did anybody have that on their bingo card for 2024? We have not seen an outbreak of Triple E for 4 years in Massachusetts, so I guess there have been outbreaks before. This year's outbreak and activity raised the risk for communities and parts of the state. We need to use all our available tools to reduce risk and protect our communities. We are asking everyone to do their part. Have you guys heard of a Triple E outbreak before? Anybody in the area? I see Osama on Rumble says people are freaking out. My buddy's neighbor had someone come spray. The guy wasn't wearing PPE and sprayed my friend's tomatoes and his cat. He was not happy. Yeah. It certainly is weird and wild. I've never heard of a Triple E outbreak. But, you know, it's a lot of things I've never heard of. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, most people infected with the Triple E virus do not develop symptoms. The incubation for those who develop symptoms range between 4 and 10 days. The CDC said the infections could range from a febrile illness or to a neurological disease. Didn't they say something about 30%? Let's go back to this. Didn't they say something about 30%?
Including club sports. These are recommended to be jeopardized to get be a part of 10 days after being those symptoms. A team. Now Triple E now fighting for his life.
Wait, this is what?
The death rate is as high as 30%.
Death rate is 30%? Okay. Okay. That is very alarmist, don't you think? Oh, what was the death rate of COVID? It was supposed to be as high as 5% or something like that. I mean, people were freaking out because COVID was supposedly, you know, the death rate was 1, 2, or 3%, something like that. 30%. It's interesting that they put that in that news story. Because in this Hill story, they said most people who get Triple E do not have any symptoms. Kind of like some other diseases we've heard of. Don't you know? Let's read on a little bit. Town officials in Plymouth, Mass. have closed all public parks from dusk to dawn in response to increased risk of virus. State reported its first human case on August 16th in Worcester. Okay. Do you think that's a bit alarmist, the 30%? %30% death rate. Oh my God! You know, let's really get people ramped up and freaked out about this. It sounds like from the Hill article that most people don't develop symptoms, and if they do, it's, you know, there's a range of severity in actual illness, and I'm sure the range and severity of actual illness depends on your level of health, right? How 33.33%. There you go. That's a good one, Phantomas, yes. Tripoli is not just a place in Lebanon. You just read TFK's book? You meant RFK, yes. I thought that's what you meant. That's a good book. Let's watch this for a second. This is not what I wanted to watch. Where is it? Here it is. I mean, you're going to have a lot of people talking about this, and this is not to, I'm not necessarily, well, maybe I am. Let's be honest. Maybe I'm trying to conflate these two things. But let's say when they tell you to be afraid of something and then they develop a cure for it, and then, sorry, I'm not trying to really watch ads. They develop a cure for it, or they're working on developing a cure. Here we go. And all of a sudden, the thing that they're worried about happens. And the frustrating thing is it leaves people in a position of not knowing whether they should take it seriously or not, or how scared somebody should be. Bella says there was a study, I believe, at Texas A&M that a horse around an infected mosquito pool can be bitten up to 5,000 times an hour. The chances of getting West Nile virus, if they're not vaccinated, are astronomical. Okay. Anyways, just for context.
They're a sign of summer in many parts of the U.S. They're also vectors of pathogens, spreading diseases. Especially this species, the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
It's really hard to control this mosquito. It's resistant to a lot of the chemical insecticides which can be used for it, and there are no effective vaccines or drugs for most of the diseases which it can actually carry.
So the Florida Keys Mosquito Control District is turning to a novel tool, releasing millions of genetically modified male mosquitoes designed to reduce the population of Aedes aegypti. Here's how it works. It might seem strange that a tool to combat the spread of mosquitoes relies on the release of, well, more mosquitoes. The entire strategy focuses on getting rid of female mosquitoes, since they're the only mosquitoes that bite. Fewer female mosquitoes means fewer eggs, which hopefully means fewer future mosquitoes.
So the OX5034 mosquito, this is what we call our friendly male mosquito. And this male mosquito really has one job, and that's to go and find invasive female mosquitoes, mate with them, and pass on to them two genes.
The first genetic modification they'll pass on to their offspring is found in the...
Okay, we get the the general overview, I think. So I understand that they're talking about reducing the population of... But it's hard to know with the advent of drones, very tiny drones, insect-sized drones, mosquitoes who can be, genetically modified, and some people say, possibly, carrying something if, because, the U.S. government, the military especially, has already been shown to have a predilection for running experiments on people without their knowledge. And, you know, so I think all of those questions or all the skepticism around it is completely warranted and on the table. I don't think that's, you know, out of the realm of possibility. And, you know, to whisk it away or to swat it away with they don't do that anymore. Or, they would never do that. Or no, they're just good people trying to help you out. Yeah. I'd say go with skepticism before you go with like, it's fine. Lyme disease. A lot of people think the rise in Lyme disease is, you know, somehow generated, you know. I don't know. I really don't know. The other possibility in Lyme disease, or the rise in Lyme disease, and for a lot of, you know, people who are watching the biosphere enter another state of being, you know, it's obviously possible that these things could be environmental factors as well, pressures, right? It's hard to parse exactly what's going on. But this is concerning. This story is concerning. Yeah. I do remember that something's in the water. Yeah. Y'all, we're live on Rockfin Chatters. Where you at? And we're live on Rumble too. So, you know, feel free. I can see the Rumble chats. 'Cause I see a few people watching on Rumble, and I can see the Rumble chats. If you throw them up, but I'm checking the Rockfin chats as well. So, you know, it is a concerning story, and the way that they are shaping it is concerning. So, something's in the water. I was going to say Zika virus, right? They were talking about that in Florida. Here's an interesting slant, I think, on the Zika virus scare, because they were saying it was coming from South America, that these mosquitoes were biting people, and was it that the babies were being born with encephalitis, or is that the right term? I think they were saying that babies were being born with encephalitis due to Zika virus. But here's another angle on that whole story that I always found interesting. The small head, yeah. So that effect in babies is also brought on by the use of glyphosate, right? People that use, you know, farmers and families that used these particular pesticides on their crops also found that their babies were being born with birth defects, and one of the main ones was the small head syndrome. And so I thought, what a great cover, right? What a great cover for the effects being that people were showing from using pesticides to you know, switch that over or shift that into, well, this is caused by this, you know, Zika virus that the mosquitoes are spreading. Last interesting fact on the Zika virus: it is owned, by the Rockefellers, and I don't know if you can find this anymore on the, you know, freely on the interwebs, but anyways, the Rockefeller has a patent for the Rockefeller Foundation has a patent for the Zika virus. So that's interesting, isn't it? Isn't it? Well, let's see if we can find it. Well, just quickly, the Rockefeller Foundation has been involved in the discovery and research of the Zika virus. All right, they discovered it, huh? The Zika virus was discovered in 1947 at the Virus Research Institute in Uganda. Okay. They say the foundation has not filed for or holds any patent on the Zika virus. That's actually, I think that is a falsehood, because I have seen the patent for the Zika virus. And maybe they, you know, that was years ago, so I'm sure they're trying to steer that in a different direction. Oh, really? You can't find this site? The site cannot be reached? Oh, that's interesting. Let's see if I can reach it. Oh, thank you. Encephalitis, not encephalitis. Encephalitis or anencephaly. Is that right? I'll just say it many times and try to get it right at least one of those times. Let's see. Nope, can't reach it. Wow, that's interesting. You cannot reach the site conspiracyclub.co, which I was trying to reach for some kind of take on this, and they're not letting me get there. That's very interesting. Huh. Anyways, overall, an interesting story and one to follow, I think. Do we know where it came from? We don't know. Do we know, anything beyond what they're telling us is going on right now? We don't know. I'm sure, this is something to stay aware of. I find it fishy that they're telling people it's a 30% fatality rate. Come on now. 30%. And isn't that what, interestingly also enough, is that when I've heard a few people saying, well, there's going to be, they're going to create another, super virus that might be released, or, people might come in contact with, that will have a 30% fatality rate. So that's interesting that number was the one that showed up on the screen, because people were losing their minds over COVID having a 1, 2, 3, or maybe 5% mortality rate, right? And people were there was a spectrum of what people thought the actual mortality rate was, but like a 1 or 2% mortality rate is insane, right? 30%. Or isn't that, also isn't that what they attribute to, like, Ebola, Delene says coincidentally there was Turkey Point nuclear plant in the same area where the Zika virus was found and has the same symptoms as radiation poisoning. That's also interesting, sure. Rockfinder's all right. Starting to get in here. Old as dirt is here. Yeah, Fauci supposedly got West Nile virus. That is just very interesting, right? All of a sudden there's a focus on mosquitoes. It's what's, and maybe all of this is environmentally related. I don't know. Or maybe that's a factor. But you have, what I find very interesting too it sure is. What I did over the summer was avoid bird flu, monkeypox, triple E. That's what I did. I tried to run the obstacle course of viruses and diseases that I might come in contact with this year. It's been a big year for oh, and COVID is back. Of course, COVID is back. Everybody, COVID is back. So there's a lot to be afraid of. Everybody, go to Amazon and buy your big plastic life ball today. And be safe, All right, we got other stuff to cover, and it's already deep into the show hour. Man, it was massive flooding in Havasupai Falls. My bad. Flash flooding in Arizona. U.S. has cut off all access to Supai and Havasupai Falls, leaving one woman missing. I think this is a hiker that was swept away by these flash floods. The tribal council has decided to close their lands, and Governor Hobbs has activated the National Guard to assist. I wish that this would load. Y'all can see that in a second. It's pretty massive. Flash flooding there. All right. Bulla's here. Judy Truitt's here. Thanks for showing up in the chats, Phantomas. It's been a while since we've seen you. All the other lovely folks that are usually here are here, so thanks for hanging out. Hiker swept away in Grand Canyon National Park. Yeah, when vacations go crazy. And we are seeing Moab got some flooding. Utah, other spots in Utah got some massive flooding. Floods. Where they were talking about the fact that the hurricane season is a disappointment from all the predicted, the supposed massive prediction of like all the hurricanes. But do we really? I can't get this thing to get out of the way. I really hate this thing. I can't read this, bro. Fox weather. I cannot read this if you won't get this little dumb thing out of the way. That's annoying. Anyways, I don't know what to do about this. Hiker swept away in Grand Canyon National Park during flash flood. There you go. A search is underway for a hiker who was swept away during a flash flood in Arizona. Just don't make me say the same thing 3 times. I know you're feeling. You got to fulfill a word count, but that's just lazy. Heavy rains flooded Havasu Creek Thursday afternoon, stranding around 200 hikers, including several above and below Beaver Falls, according to National Park Service officials. Rescuers arrived via helicopter to assist, but learned a 33-year-old woman who had been swept into the raging Havasu Creek about a half mile above the Colorado River confluence was still missing. The woman, identified as Chinoa Nickerson, is described as 5'8", weighing 190 pounds with brown hair and blue eyes. NPS officials said she was wearing a black tank top, black shorts, blue hiking boots, but not wearing a life jacket. Officials with the Weather Service said the area received between 1 and 2 inches of rain within 60 to 90 minutes. Many tourists lost all their belongings as they rushed to higher ground during the severe thunderstorm. Man, that's scary. It's very real. Paddleboarder dies at Canyon Lake during the storms. Witnesses said a man paddleboarding on the main bay was knocked off his board during a stormy weather. He was last seen trying to swim to shore but never made it. So yeah, that can be, those things can turn on you real quick. Yeah, Timothy Martin, of course. Yeah. The Japanese, the Chinese, the bioweapons, the Germans, what did I see recently that was really interesting? Tried to grab it, but I cannot. Was it a movie plot? I can't remember. I think it was in a movie. Maybe that's what it was. No. When art and life mix together and become confusing. Brondo. It's got electrolytes. Yes. Denver. True story. Anyways, that's very concerning. But this level of flooding and extreme situations, weather situations, has been everywhere, all year, and definitely for the past few years, we've seen these things kind of ramping up. And so there definitely is something going on with the fact that the ecosystem is changing. There's more water vapor in the air. We all, causing more storms. This is what happens when things get warm. It's a fairly straightforward explanation for a lot of this. I'm not saying all of it, but for a lot of it. Yes, heat does seem to be a big issue this year, indeed. Well, also, with the warm ocean temperatures, and Mediterranean Sea is very warm, and they are also, they've been experiencing their share of, major storms, floods, etc. Right. I'm going to switch over to this real quick. An oil tanker, which, this is why war is so great, because it's just nonstop carnage. And what I mean by and what I mean is carnage of the environment. And, while some people, while people are cheering on one side or the other, that's, I think you all know where I stand, but that's a topic for debate. In this war in the Middle East, the loser is the environment. Definitely losing while other people fight it out. Oil tanker Soyunion, I guess Soyunion, carrying 150,000 tons of crude oil bombed in the Red Sea by Yemeni forces. All right, yeah. 50,000 tons of crude oil. Going south, what do I think of the Unity ticket? Unfortunately, not much. I'll believe it when I see it. I mean, I don't know. We seem to keep getting okey doked into. I mean, this is a fairly big okey doke because RFK is around. He's not. I guess the difference is that it's an interesting progression because he started running in the. Oh, let me read this first before I go off. Fires on board Greek flag tanker after Houthi attack in Red Sea, says maritime agency. 3 fires blazed on a Greek flagged oil tanker. One day after rescuers evacuated its crew in the wake of an assault by the Houthi militants. The Iran-aligned Houthis, who control Yemen's most popular region, said on Thursday they had attacked the Soyunian oil tanker as part of their 10-month campaign against commercial shipping to support Palestinians in the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. The Houthis first damaged the tanker on Wednesday with repeated attacks that caused a fire and loss of engine power. A European warship later rescued her crew of 25. The uncrewed vessel was anchored between Yemen and Eritrea. The damaged tanker poses an environmental hazard, a potential spill. Well, I guess it looks like it hasn't spilled its contents, but obviously the fires are pretty toxic. Potential spill could lead to disastrous consequences, etc., etc. Never leave out the probability that, never assume that the thing you're seeing is the thing they're telling you it is, right? Is this, false flags are also in the offing? Right? They're trying to really tie the Houthis to Iran, and if you get, the West mad and we can't take these attacks anymore, we've got to do something and go get Iran. The whole thing, right? Yeah, it's interesting that RFK went from running in the Democratic Party, dropping out and running independent, and then aligning with the Republicans in a very kind of short space of time. Or maybe not just Republicans. He's aligning with Trump. So I don't know. We need an independent party, period. And all of this capitulating and going, well, we got to support one side or the other. Bernie backing Hillary, Tulsi backing Biden, RFK backing Trump. It's less orthodox than him backing Kamala, dropping out and backing Kamala. So, I don't know. It seems that way. I did watch. Well, I watched. I didn't actually watch his whole speech at the rally. Until I had watched like a Jimmy Dore video where he played some of it, and Jimmy Dore rightly pointed out that the things that RFK is expressing that I guess Trump is supporting are very much left of the Democratic Party, which is what pretty much won Trump the first time Trump ran against Hillary. He ran to the left on many issues. Again, I just don't have any. I don't have a lot of confidence or faith that things are going to really dramatically shift in a direction that is viable for the people. Does it cause me to have enough hope in that direction to go out and vote for Trump? No. It was well done, Judy. Yeah. It was well done, and you know what RFK has to say also is very, it's very convincing. RFK to me absolutely seems much more genuine. But people with nice, fine words are really good at getting people to, to support them, and then going in a different direction. It's just, it's really hard to be so cynical. Because you want to have faith in somebody, but like, I don't know, my faith and hope and change button has been stomped on so many times that I don't have much left. Even if Kennedy is authentic, do you think that Trump is going to actually let those things be dealt with? I just don't know. I just don't know. And all the time, as many times as I really have wanted to have faith in somebody who was different, maybe it's better put this way. Whether or not I have faith that somebody is authentic and well-meaning doesn't really matter, because I just don't know that the system is going to allow these people to really make any kind of major changes. I just don't think they're going to be allowed to do it without a real uprising of the people, without a real like coalescing of other entities. If you're just relying on this one person getting in there and duking it out with the powers that be, I don't think they're going to win. But if you have enough people in the streets, or if you have people really outraged about things, and really if you have a lot of, here's one way it could work out. If he gets in, well, first of all, JD Vance should get, he should overthrow, no, I don't know, whatever. The theory is that JD Vance is out, RFK will be the VP, something. I don't know. But let's say RFK gets in there into the administration, somehow he gets a cabinet position or maybe something, bigger. And enough people are really like mobilized and excited about what he says he wants to do or is trying to do, that the powers that be actually feel like they might have to capitulate. Maybe, but I just don't see it. I don't see it. All right, guys, if you like this show coming to you for free 99 every single day, Monday through Friday, that's every weekday, and you want to support the show, you want the show to keep on coming to you for free 99, or keep it on coming, period. There are lots of ways to support the show financially, and I, always need that support and totally appreciate that support. A bunch of links in the description box. All the regulars: PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, coffees. There's super rays and super chats and stuff like that. So if you want to support, I really appreciate it. And if you already support, you know who you are, and I appreciate you. Did get my regular monthly from Lou. So Lou, thank you for that. Lou's always watching. Lou also sends me delicious coffee. So thanks for that, Lou. Let's see. We're not done yet. Yeah, I don't feel, at this point, I guess I would vote for Jill Stein, but even that leaves me feeling a bit deflated, But if I'm going to vote my conscience, I guess I would vote for Jill Stein. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard to get excited about it anymore. I'd rather see somebody with a really big I mean, I do see a lot of people supporting RFK out and about. In fact, I see more than a few. I see a lot of Trump supporters in LA. Interesting. I don't see a lot of Harris support in LA, here and there. Way more Trump support in LA. So, if you're just getting my man on the streets take. But I do see RFK support out there, probably on par with the Harris support, as far as people waving the flags and doing the things and getting out and doing rallies and bumper stickers and whatever. I'm probably around that. Lastly, let's talk about this Telegram. By the way, there is a Telegram. Oh, you know what, guys? I forgot to tell you while you're all here. I know a lot of people have a hard time with downloading another app or getting in another app, and they want something maybe browser based as a chat room. I created this random chat on this random site, and I don't know anything. I'm not telling you it's like encrypted or private or anything. But if you just want a chat room that's on a browser to join, it's on this website called Y99. Yeah, I can't really, I can't vouch for any kind of privacy in this chat room. But if you want to do like a browser-based chat room, you can do this. Otherwise, the Telegram chat is where it's happening, and that's more encrypted. Telegram, is supposed to be private. But if you guys want to there's a Black Bear News chat at y99.in. So if you guys want to just talk about this and that, I don't, who knows? I doubt they're censoring people there, but maybe they are. Who knows? I don't know. You guys want to try it? Are you into it? Or would you rather do Telegram? I did not put this in the description box, but I will. Let's see. Sorry, I lost everything. Here's the link. In YouTube. Oh, wait. I don't think that's the right one. Sorry, guys. Here, let me give you the right one. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. I'm going to put it in Telegram. This is the link, the one with the number. That's a Black Bear News chat. I'll put it in the Telegram too. This is just get in there. It's like super easy to get in there, and it's on a browser. And if you guys want to get in there and like chat it up in the Black Bear News. It is not Telegram. You don't have to download an app or anything like that. We can try this one. The Telegram is operational and people are in there dropping links. So that is the other Black Bear News chat right now. Anyways, the founder of Telegram was arrested in France recently. So this should be good. This chat room should be cool for the people that just want to get in and have a chat. I don't know anything about the privacy of this. I know nothing. And so, use at your own discretion. But try it out. I mean, hey, let it fly. Let it fly. Post whatever you want there, and we'll see if they, censor or shut it down or, say anything to us. Who knows? Maybe what we're talking about isn't really all that crazy, but the Telegram, though, is there. t.me/blackbearnewschat is also happening in Telegram. So anyways, let's get to this because I have a few minutes. Telegram founder Pavel Durov recently revealed to Tucker Carlson that the FBI approached a Telegram engineer attempting to secretly hire him to install a backdoor that would allow U.S. intelligence agencies to spy on its users. Well, But the news story is that he's been arrested in France and charged with all kinds of things, everything under the sun, because he would not censor his platform. So we'll look at this. We'll look at from The Guardian. But this is concerning because the powers that be have really stepped up their attacks on free speech, on people who are trying to fight for free speech, people who are speaking out against what is going on in, the Ukraine or in Israel or elsewhere. People who want to protect the right for people to express themselves. We have people being threatened with being arrested for their social media posts in the UK. Richard Medhurst being arrested. Scott Ritter having his home searched by the FBI. There is an obvious, concerted, coordinated ramping up of attacks on free speech. Anyways, the arrest of Pavel Durov, the Russian-born founder of Telegram in Paris on Sunday, has thrown the spotlight on the messaging app. Prosecutors said on Monday he was being held in custody as part of a cybercrime investigation. So the company said everything on Telegram, including chats, groups, media, etc., is encrypted. But it's a different sort of encryption to that which has become standard in messaging apps, known as end-to-end for Telegram users, unless they go through a laborious process of setting up a secret chat. Their messages aren't protected from being read by by Telegram itself, and so Telegram doesn't have the same excuse for not aiding law enforcement that its competitors can turn to. So apparently they leaned on him, and he said no. The French allegations are broadly that Telegram failed to fight the use of the service for crime, including the spread of sexual abuse material. Of course, that's the go-to. The investigation, which is. It's interesting that they use stuff like that because they're using that as an excuse to like on Twitter, people are censored for the things that they say and they stand for, and maybe saying things against the powers that be. But there's lots of porn on Twitter. You have to kind of like watch out, because you'll be just going through a thread. You'll be reading like a comment thread, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God. Right? I've heard that about Facebook too, though I've not seen it. So these apps actually allow all kinds of stuff. That's horrific, even though they say, oh, we're protecting you for your safety. But it doesn't seem like they're doing a lot of protecting of the things that they're actually saying that they protect people from. What they're really trying to protect people from is saying and thinking what they want about who's doing what. The investigation concerns crimes related to illicit transaction, child sexual abuse, fraud, and refusal to communicate information to authorities. They've charged him with all kinds of things. In a statement on Sunday, Durov said he had nothing to hide, and it's absurd to claim that a platform and its owner are responsible for the abuse of that platform or on the platform. Some have already spoken out in fear of the chilling effect, with executives feeling like they need to over-moderate and over-censor their services lest their own safety is at risk. Interesting, too, is that Russia has come to the defense of Durov. So Durov supported the initial Ukraine color revolution in 2014, and he actually left Russia and obtained French and Dubai citizenship. So he left Russia and he had a big falling out with them, and famously, gave them the finger, literally and figuratively. But Putin is fighting to get him freed and have his rights respected. So that's interesting. It's interesting. I don't, that's another strange layer to the whole story, is that even though Russia and Durov have had a public falling out, they're on his side. So let's look at this though from the Tucker Carlson interview. If it will load, whenever it will load. Telegram founder Pavel Durov recently revealed to Tucker Carlson. I read that. FBI. Okay, this is also the other interesting part of this post that I wanted to talk about for a second. Well, let's listen first.
An engineer that is working. We get too much attention from the FBI, the security agencies, wherever we came to the US. So to give you an example, last time I was in the US, I brought an engineer that is working for Telegram, and there was an attempt to secretly hire my engineer behind my back by cybersecurity officers or agents, wherever they are called.
The U.S. government should hire your engineer?
That's my understanding. That's what he told me.
To write code for them or to break into Telegram?
They were curious to learn which open source libraries are integrated to the Telegram's app, on the client side, and they were trying to persuade him to use certain open source tools that he would then integrate into the Telegram's code that, in my understanding, would serve as backdoors.
Would allow the U.S. government to spy on people who use Telegram?
The U.S. government, or maybe any other government, because a backdoor is a backdoor regardless of who is using it.
That's right.
And
that's a little surprising to hear. Maybe it's not surprising. It's offensive. You're confident that happened?
Yes. There is no reason for my engineer to make up the stories. Also because I personally experienced similar pressure in the US. Whenever I would go to the US, I would have two FBI agents greeting me at the airport, asking questions. One time I was having my breakfast at like 9 a.m. and the FBI showed up at my house that I was renting. And that was quite surprising. And I thought, we're getting too much attention here. It's probably not the best environment to run.
Why would had you committed a crime?
No, they were interested to learn more about Telegram. They knew I, left Russia. They knew what we were doing, but they wanted details. And my understanding is that they wanted to establish a relationship to, in a way, control Telegram better. I understand that they were doing their job. It's just that for us running a privacy-focused social media platform, that probably wasn't the best environment to be. And we want to be focused on what we do, not on government relations of that sort.
Government relations.
Last thing I want to say. In this post, the FBI also hired agents to infiltrate anti-vax Telegram groups, with FBI contractors creating multiple fake online identities to join chat rooms run by groups opposing vaccine mandates. So this isn't just Telegram. This is everywhere. Hired agents to infiltrate anti-vax. No, the agents are on every social media app. They are everywhere, the agents. YouTube, Rumble, wherever. They're all over the place, posing as, chatters in a chat room, right? So, or whatever. Chatters in a Telegram room, chatters in a whatever room, just to get, to get information or spread information. Twitter is big on, the propagandists, paid propagandists, which I've run into many of on Twitter. People that, claim to be just, regular folk type of people, but you start talking to them and they just start like, they have a whole list of things that they're trying to tell you should know. I'm like, okay, you're really on one. There's Rumble CEO got out of Europe too, Extrabola. Okay. Yeah, so that's an interesting development as well. Anyways, got a couple of people in the Y99 chat. Come on in, everybody, if you want to just do something real simple and browser based. On maybe you can. It seems like real super low tech, so I kind of like that. So if you want an alternate place to chat, you can go there, check it out. The link is in Telegram. The link is in the YouTube. I'll drop it in the Rockfin one too. Rockfin chats. I'll drop it in the, nope, not that one. I'll drop it in the Rumble chats. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? It's hard to keep all these things straight. I will also include it in the description box of future shows if people want to find it. It'll be there. Just have to do it in a way so that everybody can see it. All right. There's a link in the Rockfin chat. There's a link in the Rumble chat. Got some folks watching on Rumble. What's up? All right. If you're wherever you're watching, before you go, please leave a like, y'all, and share if you want to share. And we will see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow at the regular time of 11 a.m. Pacific. And until next time, peace.